Good day, good day. It's Happy Day. How you feeling today? I'm thankful. Thank you for asking. I'm here today to talk about fear. We have a lot of issues going on right now in America and I'm sure around the world with fear, with anxiety, with all these things that are associated with fear. And so what I'm here to talk about is some things that we can do to reduce and even eliminate. In my past, I had panic attacks. I had a lot of anxiety, a lot of fears constantly. You get on an elevator and you're freaking out sometimes, things like that. So there's things that you can do that actually can reduce and change, and eventually 99.9% of it is possible to go, and maybe even 100%, but that's at a much higher level. So right now we're going to look at some things like being able to watch the fear and not take it seriously. The big thing about fear is it's very convincing. When I was waking up, in my case, when I would wake up in the AM, I could feel the anxiety in my body before I even fully woke up. So by the time I woke up, the anxiety was just full in. And once the anxiety is full in, it's very difficult to be able to handle it from a strength perspective. When it's already full in, it's hard to be able to balance yourself to really go into what you need to do. So it's best that when you immediately see things happening, when you're awake, in my case, it was like I said before I woke up, but it also happened throughout the day. It also happened in certain situations. So sometimes you can't prevent it. Sometimes you can't see it coming. It just pops up. The key is to be able to recognize when it's about to come. So you start it'll be a physical sensation that shows up in your body a lot of times. And so I would have anxiety, my lower chest, my stomach area, somewhere around there. And it felt like a strong, almost a vibrating sensation. And my mind is telling me, hey, this is anxiety. This is a problem. Something's wrong with you. And once your mind takes over that physical sensation and you believe it, you start believing, hey, yeah, I have a problem here. Oh, something's wrong. And then you start running with it. And at that point, it's really, really out of control. So catch it before it comes. As soon as you feel that physical sensation, you just look at it without getting involved. Just like if you saw some children across the street playing ball, you wouldn't be like, oh, get them. Oh, yeah. They're just throwing ball back and forth. You don't get emotionally involved with it. You observe it. You see it. You say, okay, I see that happening, without mentally trying to label it, without saying, oh, he's really doing this and that. Just watch it. And you want to do the same thing with yourself. The better that you can just watch what's going on with you without having any additional thoughts, any additional commentary mentally, or any associations with the past. Oh, I remember when this happened last time. Oh, I remember when this happened before. When you have that past association, that mental conversation, then that's when it really grabs and takes that stronghold. So you just watch it for what it is. It's a physical sensation. That's really all it is. It's just a body sensation. Just like gas. You don't get gas and say, oh my God, it's the end of the world. I mean, maybe if you're nowhere near a toilet or something. But if you're at home you get a little gassy, whatever. It's not a big, it's an issue, but it's not a big deal. It's not as big as what our mind makes it out to be. Now, if you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna explode and fall apart, and that's the end of everything, then you'll see how that can go the opposite way. Anxiety is the same thing, believe it or not. Anxiety is just a physical sensation in your body. And when you address it as such, just a physical sensation, then you're able to look at it more objectively. Just like if you were to look at heartburn. You say, oh, I got heartburn. Oh, it's not comfortable. It doesn't feel good. No, you're right. It does not feel good. Having said that, it's not you. It's not something that completely can take you over. And so when you're able to watch it as it's trying to make its way in, and what it'll do is you might find it even trying to move around. It might move to this side. It might move to your shoulder. It goes from your stomach to your shoulders. It's trying to hide from you. Believe it or not, it's scared of you. It's just scared of your attention. So when you give it your attention and you look at it without all of that commentary, without the past, without this and that, then it starts to move away from you. And so then what happens is the mind jumps in. The mind, your thoughts start chattering and saying, oh yeah, this is this and it's that and this happened before. And so you just do the same thing with the mind. Same thing with your thoughts. Now I know typically we are thought to believe that every thought is ours, and you are your thoughts and you are your mind, and that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother video. Having said that, just being able to distance yourself a little bit from your thoughts is possible, and it is really the only way to allow to eliminate these anxieties, or to get on that pathway to eliminating the anxieties, is to be able to eliminate the connection physically, eliminate that connection mentally. And just like if you are next to somebody and they burp and you don't like it, you want to push them over, right? You want to push them out the seat, so get away from me. But you realize, hey, it's not really a normal thing to do. That's like kind of crazy for me to just snap and want to push somebody over. So you recognize that there's some thoughts in your head that you don't accept, that you don't like. So it's the same thing with your anxiety thoughts. You can look at those thoughts the same way that, okay, that's out the box. No, I'm not going to murder somebody because they burped or whatever, and I'm going to push them out the seat. So it's the same thing. I'm not going to feed into that. And when you say, hey, I'm not going to feed into these thoughts, I'm not going to feed into it, you can watch those go by. Like a wise man that I, listen to, he says, watch it like a cloud in the sky. The sky just watches the clouds go by. So when you can just watch thoughts go by like clouds in the sky, then, and not get caught up and associated and attached to them, then you can begin to really handle that anxiety. You can really learn to get rid of it. So that's what's worked for me. And do I have anxiety? No. I mean, I have maybe once every 2, 3 months, 4 months, I wake up and I have a sensation of anxiety in my body, and I just lay there and I just watch it, just like you watch TV and say, okay, well, I see it. All right, it's moving around. Okay. And I just sit there for a few minutes, 5 minutes, and just let it be. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't say, oh man, here we go, get like I used to. I just be like, oh man, this is the worst feeling in the world. And once you just lay back and let it be, let it do its thing, it's like a child, like a child, they cry and throw a tantrum, and you just watch the child throw the tantrum, and then child tires themselves out, and it's over. And essentially, the more often you do that type of practice, you'll see it occurs less and less and less. And so it comes around every now and then and says, hey, I'm trying to reestablish a relationship with you. You know, I want to be friends again. And I'm like, nah, I didn't like that relationship. It wasn't a good relationship. So no, we're broken up. It's over. And so it doesn't stop you from knocking on the door trying to come visit, but it doesn't mean I gotta, hang out and throw a party with it. So my hot 5 turned to a hot 10, so I'm gonna cut this off. Next video is on how to drink more water. A lot of people know that you need to drink water and all that other stuff, but this is a video on how to drink more water, because nobody likes drinking water, let's be honest. Only a few people really drink enough water, or even close to enough water. Most people barely drink any water at all, or almost no water every day. So how to drink more water is the next video coming up. If you have any questions, any comments, feel free to hit me up. Happeedey@gmail. Looking to do some life coaching in the future, some things like that. Got some other things working on, but I'm here for you, and we're gonna get this done together. So holla at your mans. Shalom.